Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm not working on anything particular right now, and I've been saving up a few woodworking tips, so I thought today would be a great day to share them. So let's jump right in. So what I'm showing you right here is basically some clear plastic tape. It's sold as Shin Pad tape or hockey tape, and I use quite a bit of this stuff, but I use it in the workshop. And what's nice with it is it doesn't stick really well to wood, but it does stick really well to itself. And where I use it, if I have to do a quick glue up or something, or maybe if I have something small that I want to glue up, or maybe it's something that, for example, if I'm gluing a chair rung into a leg, and how do you get a clamp around that? It's really hard. With this, you can just wrap it around. You could wrap it around the chair rung and then onto the leg, around the leg, and it's not, you can actually, because it stretches, you can actually pull it quite tight. So for example, you can see it stretches really nicely, but where I would use it on wood is basically as clamping, and it works really well because it does. So you wrap it around like that, and I've got this purposely hanging off the side, and you can actually take a couple of wraps and you can see, and you don't even really need to cut it. You can just snap it like that. But look at that, it's nice and tight. Do the other side, same thing. This stuff is really inexpensive, and it's basically disposable. You can't really reuse it. But for quick clamping, for places that you can't get into with a standard clamp, or maybe you're someplace where you don't have clamps, maybe you're visiting a relative and they need a quick repair on something, there's a real lifesaver. Shin Pad or hockey tape. Okay, next I'm going to show you how to make a really quick knob, a thumb knob. And the reason you might be doing that, maybe you've got one knob and you need something that you can use for finger tightening, but maybe it's too short. You can make your own really super simple. Now I've just got a couple of blank screws here, bolts here, and what I have underneath here is parchment paper. I use a lot of parchment paper in the workshop. Glue doesn't stick to it, even hot glue doesn't stick to it, almost nothing sticks to it. You can reuse it, it's inexpensive, it comes in big long rolls. I just think it's a great use for something to quick and easy cleanups. So to make this knob, here's what I'm going to do. I've got a wrench here. Doesn't matter on the size as long as it's a size you like. I'm just going to take a moment here off camera and just, because I need to set this up like this, I'm just going to take a moment and tape that to the top there so it doesn't fall off on me. And guess what? I used hockey tape for that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be filling the inside of this, but what I want to do, I'm going to put a little bit of glue in there first of all, then I'm going to hold this in, and then I'm going to fill the top of it. And it doesn't take long, but you are going to have to wait a little, a few minutes for it to dry or to harden. So I'm just going to put, moving around in there. And you can kind of fill that up a little bit. And I'm going to put this in on top of that. Then I'm going to fill the top. And it's going to move around a little bit on me, but that's not, I found that's not a problem. Now I'm just going to hold this for a few minutes, probably, I don't know, 3 or 4, and I'll come back. Oh, it won't even be 3 or 4. It's already starting to harden up. I can feel it. But I am going to have to let it harden for about 4 or 5 minutes. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to take this out. Okay, that's been, I didn't time it, but probably 3 or 4 minutes, and it's pretty hard in there. Take that off. And what I do is I just put it in my vise, and you can actually feel it cracking in there. Or hear it cracking rather, and you can just kind of twist it a little bit. I've never had one pop out that didn't just sort of pop out of there. There it comes, I think. There we are. And there we go. There's a perfect little thumb screw. Now, you may want to do a little bit of cleanup, and you can use a razor knife or a little razor blade or something to clean that up. And but look, you got a quick and easy. It's actually easy to grip because it uses the inside of the wrench for some sort of knurling. So just a quick, easy way to repair knobs, or to make knobs quicker, or to make knobs shorter or longer, whatever you might need. Maybe you have a piece of dowel that you need to drill into, and you can see that I've used my center finder to find the center of that. Now, if you're using a small bit like this, it doesn't matter. You'll be able to hold that, not with your fingers probably, depending on the type of wood you're using, but fairly easy, maybe even with a clamp or something, or in your vise if you're hand drilling. But if you're going to make a larger hole, a big Forstner bit like this, that will really want to spin that wood. And this is where you really need to make sure that you've got a good clamping system. The quickest and easiest thing that I found is you just simply drill a hole. In this case, I've used my 1 1/4 Forstner bit, and I've drilled a hole into this wood. But look, you could use hole saws. There's a variety of hole saw sizes, and if you don't have the proper hole saw size, I'm going to show you how you can fix that as well. But the way the first system I'm going to show you works, you just basically put it into the center, and you can see that I've cut on my table saw. I've made a slit all the way along, and you need to make sure that you make it far enough up here, because you want to be able to clamp this together. And I've used natural wood here. Plywood doesn't work very well for this. So what you do, and this is for if you're using it on your obviously on your drill press, you want to make a precision hole in there. So you drop that in there, and depending on how high your dowel is, and then what you do then, you can clamp it. I'm used to using a C-clamp right here, but you can probably use hand clamps, and honestly that is so rigid in there, that is not going to go anywhere. But you may not have the right size drill, and there's other things that you can do. And here's some of the things that you can do. Same kind of principle, but for example, this is a much smaller hole, won't fit in there, but you can see that what you can do now, you can use a couple of clamps, one on each side, and you can hold that in there with a couple of clamps where I've got my fingers, and hold that in there tightly. And again, that's not going to move. And that hole is actually a bit smaller. If it was a bit smaller or a bit bigger, it would do the same thing. You can see that that hole saw size is bigger than that, and it would still work and still grip this. But there's something else that you can do. If you don't have hole saws or Forstner bits, you can actually make a 45-degree cut like this, and again it does the same thing. And you can adjust this. You can cut this on your bandsaw and cut it like that and do the same kind of thing, and again you're gripping it like this. I could use a little wider cut on this, but you get the idea, the principle of it, and the same thing, and you can grip that really tightly. The downside of using this system is if you can get a little bit of gouging into the doweling, so you may want to modify your cut on that. And but either any of these systems will work great for being able to drill a large hole inside of a dowel. Okay, we're at my sliding miter saw, and I have it set to cut a perfect square, and I hate to move it. I do once in a while, but unless I'm cutting 45-degree angles or something, I hate to move it for sort of 1 or 2 cuts. And what I do sometimes when I'm making maybe picture frames, or if I'm making something that is not quite absolutely perfect, I need to cut a little tiny bit of an angle rather than readjust the whole saw, and then I have to put it all back together, make sure that it's absolutely straight. What you can do is you can adjust it by moving the wood. And what we do, this is a popsicle stick. And what I would do, I would put that like that, and of course the closer you move it, the deeper the angle gets. So you could put, for example, a popsicle stick, and I almost never use a popsicle stick. I actually use something that's even thinner than that. For example, I might use, if it's just a tiny bit of an angle that I need, and you can see that's just a tiny bit for something that I might need to fit in there. I'm using, in this case, it's just a veneer. I actually have some hand-cut, very thin veneers. They're a little bit thicker. In this case, it's about, well, it's actually thicker than the popsicle stick. I thought it was thinner, but it's actually a bit thicker. So you can vary whatever it is you want in there, but by moving this a tiny bit, and you can duplicate that by marking or knowing exactly where you cut it. So if you do a test cut there and you find that there's not enough angle, you can actually move that a little bit closer, so you can, and then make another cut. So that's a quick and easy way of adjusting your miter saw, adjusting the cut without having to play around and resetting up the machine each time. You know, over the years, I've done many woodworking videos on tips and tricks, and sometimes I forget some of them. I have to go back and look at them myself. And this one that showed up the other day that I got something out of that I'd forgotten about. So you may want to check that one out. I'm Colin Canat for Woodwork Web. Thanks for watching.